Welcome to Obscure Hotline. I said it right this time.
That's the name of it.
Perfect. Yep.
That's it.
Every single time I get confused. So
yep.
This is technically episode 5, but we're going to label it 4.
Technically 6, right?
Oh, yeah. That's
because
true.
in our first episode, we did something real shitty.
Oh, real dumb. Yep. Real dumb stuff.
Like, how do we want to go about this? Naturally. Hey, first episode, we were assholes. Natural enough.
Natural enough. Dude, perfectly natural. Yeah. For us.
Yeah. We're humans. We all have moments of just absolute ignorance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It happens, true.
It's true. Well, and it's funny how you can be a little blinded by feeling like you're doing something that's right, that's a little unjustified. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. If literally you don't know what the fuck we're talking about,
we'll tell you.
We'll tell you. So
kind
yeah,
of.
A little bit. So we saw something on a video on YouTube from a creator called Tom Buck, and we were a little inappropriate with tossing his name around and like.
Yeah, it wasn't cool.
Yeah. And so we kind of stuck our, as Bark would say last episode, our big members in our mouth and said some things that were crossing a line. But, coming from the standpoint that I was at, I kind of felt like I was doing something that would, help a potential person being like, oh, I want to start out, but we're not going to even go over what was said. It doesn't matter. But
yeah, we were angry based off very little information.
Yes.
And we just jumped the gun and thought someone was arrogant when in fact they're clearly not.
Yeah.
And we know that they're clearly not because we have both spoken to Tom, and he is more than generous.
I know, he's a delight, dude.
He's more than cool. So mistake made. I think we stoked each other's fire on this. This is what happens sometimes when you're like, man, did you see this? This annoyed me. And
then
it's like, yeah, and it annoyed me too. And then everything just spirals out of control a little bit.
Yep.
And that's what happened. And we were in the wrong. And luckily, I think we both recognized that we were in the wrong once it was pointed out that, do you really know what you're talking about? And it's like, no, not really. And luckily, Tom is a much nicer person than I was that day.
No, same. Same.
You learn, you live, you learn. Sometimes you spout off at the mouth when you shouldn't. It happens, and it's, if you can learn from it, great. Well, I'll never be proud of it, but at least I learned something.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting, like from my perspective, I don't know. I should be better about this by now. And I honestly, and this is something that I told Tom, I was like, when I grew up LDS. We talked about that last episode. And I was an LDS kid that wanted to play music and be in, metal bands. And like, because of that, I had a lot of judgment put on me unnecessarily from people that did not know me. And to the best of my ability, and well, actually to the best of anyone's ability, I was living the LDS standards perfectly. And yeah, sure, I wore black and I looked like a little emo kid, but I was in a band, but everything else that actually mattered to that church, I was doing exactly what they wanted, So the fact that, I was judged without any knowledge of who I actually was, I feel like I did that to Tom, and it was fucked up. So
and at the same time, like sometimes things that happen to you repeat, and it happens. I've not always been liked or well loved or anything like that. And anytime I've had anything happen to me, somewhere along the line, I have repeated some of that action and been like, man. Like I learned that. Yeah. And I didn't know better to not use what I had learned that was wrong or incorrect. Like, you repeat, like someone that just mentally kills their children growing up. Like, you suck, you're this, you're that. Usually it's repeated. Then they have kids, and then they treat their kids like, sometimes you learn, sometimes you just repeat history. So a little moment where I repeated at least some history of just judgment, and it was just wrong. You know, it happens. Thankfully, we did it. I hate to say thankfully we did it to someone, but thankfully we were less than kind to a person who not only could handle it, but handle it in the most gracious way I think I've ever seen. And for that, true. I have no regrets. Yeah, because it showed me like, hey, I still got some work to do on myself. Like, I need to get to this guy's level of kindness, and I'm not there yet. So there you go.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that I kind of want to bring up that
I do regret it, by the way. It's just no regrets.
No,
was wrong. No, but it was fun to say. Like, I have no regrets, Tom. Damn it.
I know. Like, I guess the one thing I can say is like, hey, I had a conversation with the guy that was super, super nice. And what I said to him is I was like, hey, I wish this conversation was happening under different circumstances, but it was nice to meet you, you know, like, that's one thing that I do want to bring up. And it's one thing that's happened to me on YouTube. And it's one thing I'm sure that's happened to you is.
Ooh, yes. I know where this is going. This will be fun.
So I have judgments that'll be made about me in my videos. And especially at the beginning where I wasn't super comfortable in front of the camera and I didn't really know how to properly portray myself. And I kind of just wanted to put out a version of me that I thought people would like rather than just being myself, you know? Yeah. And I think that one thing that happens though is on YouTube, what happens is you click on a video and you judge it. You judge the person, you judge the content, and you say, do I like it? Do I want to subscribe? It's not about, you know, like, you don't get the chance to have a phone call with the creator right after it and be like, hey, what are you all about? You know, you don't get to learn all those things, but it's difficult because you want to put out a good version of yourself and everything, and you want people to like you. But bottom line, like, you can't be liked by everyone, and it would be nice if you could meet everyone that you watch, because like, now I have a completely different opinion of Tom Buck. Like before the whole thing happened, like, and I would watch his videos and I would enjoy his videos, but even then, like, I liked him, but I can say meeting him and like hearing his side of stuff and like how he is, I'm like, oh, I have a greater appreciation for him than I ever have, you know?
Right.
And how nice would it be to be able to meet people like that and do that? But that's not what we do. That's not the YouTube world or anything. Yeah. But
it can be to some extent though, in a way. Like, it's I did the same thing when I started my channel. Like, I wasn't completely myself. I go back and watch some of those videos now and I'm like, oh man, you can tell that the nerves changed me a little bit. The anxiety of it all just changed my personality just a you know, I was pandering just a little more than I normally would. Yeah. Trying to get, like, you know, I've never been one for likes, but when you're doing YouTube, unless you purely just need it as a creative outlet, most of the time you're doing it to gather in that subscription base and shoot for it to be a career, even though that's a pipe dream for most people, including us at the moment. Until we release our guide to life, then everything's going to skyrocket. Yeah. But
good to go after that.
but yeah, it's you know, things are just different. It's a different world, and even Tom said that it's a different in my email exchange with him, because I was like, you know what, like, I went straight to his website and sent him an email. I was like, I gotta take care of this. This is my wrong. I got to take care of it. Yeah. And, you know, he specifically said YouTube is just a totally different atmosphere. It's a different place. It's a different animal. And it is. But, on the flip side of that, I personally don't care if I ever get any bigger or make any more money. Like, from starting podcasting, which led to YouTube, I've met you. I've talked to Tom Buck. I've met Bandrew. I've met a fan of my first podcast, drove all the way from Pennsylvania to hang out with us for a night and be on the show.
Dang, yeah.
It's just cool doors that open. It's not just financial, and it's not just, recognition, but there's just so many cool doors that open. I've met more than that. I had a fantasy football podcast. That's how this all started. And I went to a convention in Canton, Ohio. We got invited to be on a panel and be in a convention, and I got invited to be a speaker on stage in a live fantasy draft. It was a freaking great time. Set with dudes from Sirius Radio, like
nice
big names in the industry. And I sat up there and argued with them about, who was I arguing with them about? Oh my God, it was so good. It was about Kenyon Drake.
Okay.
Oh man, I don't even remember what it was, but I think it was Kenyon Drake. Somebody was talking about him not being draftable, and someone else. I got into an argument with somebody. It was a calm, fine argument, but like just to be up there and be able to to say my opinions and stuff, it's led to so many cool places, and I met a ton of people that day that were familiar with my podcast, and it's so rewarding, and us being assholes has rewarded me with a conversation with Tom Buck. That was not the intention.
Yeah.
That was not what I was trying to do.
No.
Not the way I would go about that, but cool nonetheless.
Yeah. I think the part that we're kind of leading to, that I was leading to and everything, is that if you're in a niche and you love audio and you love video and you go and watch a YouTube channel and you see the person, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt. Watch them a couple times, get to know them, get to know their style before you really decide. Because I think that the fast judgments that you make can often be wrong. I know that there's been channels that I initially watched and I was like, not for me. And then 6 months later, I come across another video and I'm like, I'll give it a chance, And then I love it that time. And then I'm like sitting there catching up on 6 months worth of content, And I think that's another thing too, is like the mood that you're in, just like everything determines how you feel. And I don't know, man. I think that that's the best advice that I can give to a YouTuber and someone who watches YouTube, is just to like, especially if they're in the niche that you like, give them more than one chance.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, you can't. Yeah, so many people have commented after seeing one video and just started disagreeing with something I said.
Yeah.
Or pointing out that they didn't like me for some reason.
Yes.
And that's fine. That stuff never really bothers me. But, if that video wasn't for you, if it's my personality that turns you straight off, cool. By all means, find someone that matches your likes better. But at the same time, don't just discount it so quickly. You might you might find a different video that does help you out a little bit. I don't know. I usually don't. It's like watching a TV show. Like starting when I did watch Marvel, I started the show WandaVision, and an episode or two, I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. This is so weird and odd, and I'm not digging it. In episode 3, 4, I was like, okay, I get it now.
Yep.
I get it now.
Dude.
It's all coming together. It's making sense.
Yeah.
And, it's like, why start something if you're only going to give it, as Eminem would say, one shot.
Yep.
Do not miss your chance to blow.
Yep. Absolutely. Another thing I will say is that don't take one sentence and assume that sentence defines the whole human being. And I mean, like, even though, whether it sounds really bad or whatever, like, sometimes there's another side to that story. And that was what happened with us, And so,
I've had to edit a sentence out of a video before because it got pointed out and I went and watched it and then I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, that's not how I meant that at all. But they don't know that.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too, is, I mean, I've definitely said things in my videos, especially at the beginning, that I would have been like, that I'd look back now and be like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? It's like, we all definitely, I don't know, something different comes out of you sometimes when you're on camera and you don't always say exactly what you mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at comedians. Like, sometimes they say something and it's instant, maybe not cancellation, but it's instantly in the news and they're like, oh yeah, damn.
They're like shit, dude.
One Freudian slip, man. Yep. That's all it takes is one little slip.
Yep.
And it can go downhill quick.
In a situation where I judged one sentence from Tom Buck, like I should have just left a comment and been like, hey, what did you mean by that? You know, like instead of, ranting to you with a hot mic, but
yeah, to our 7 listeners.
Yeah. Dude.
Just not a great idea.
No.
It's okay though. He's a very forgiving man. He's very Jesus-like to me at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just very, I was like, I don't think I've met anybody that understanding.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's how understanding Jesus would have been.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, this dude just attempted to kill me. It's cool, man. Let's share some bread.
It's chill, dude.
It's fine.
It's totally fine.
As long, as long as you know that I don't like, attempted murder on myself, we can move forward.
Yes. Oh man. Well, speaking of moving forward, I think that we can officially move on to something a little bit more lighthearted. Just throwing it out there. I hope we didn't
turn off too many of our own viewers or listeners with that. But if we did, I for one apologize. I'm sure
But I mean, I think we're just
the same.
I know that especially one thing that Tom said to me is that it is interesting when we do talk about kind of the ins and outs and how we feel about YouTube. And I think that that's something that we initially talked about doing when we were starting this podcast, is kind of a little more behind the scenes stuff of like what we deal with and what we do and blah, 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 So
instead we just start ripping on YouTubers.
In the first fucking episode.
We had a straight line of what we wanted to do, and there was this little tempting fork with a little siren from the ocean singing to us saying, talk shit, Bronson and Bark, talk shit. And we were just like, I really want to take that forbidden path right now.
Right?
There's probably some sweet ass fruit up there. And we were wrong.
Yep. But
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
On with the YouTube stuff and what we're using today, of course.
Yes. So, okay. We'll come back to the question that I was about to ask you. It's related to YouTube questions that you get asked. So just remember that, but let's move on to what we're using real quick. So go ahead and
it's in the bank. All right. Mine's intricate. You'll be excited about the interface I'm using today. Today, I'm using the Taeyoon Q12.
Damn it!
It's once again, it's here.
Yeah.
It's stationary. It's basically bolted to the place.
Do you mean
and I have no qualms.
Right here?
That's it right there. That's the one. That is the one. I'm also, I get excited about every piece of gear. Mm-hmm. Seriously, every piece of gear. I'm excited about this mount right here. This is a H&A AC50 mount.
Oh, okay.
That I've rigged up. I have rigged up to this PVM 520 TN, which is technically a drum mic. So that's the mic I'm using today. Got it for $50. It didn't have an end grill. I took an end grill off a USB mic, put it on here, made it work. Looks beautiful.
Nice.
Also using a RODEWorks stand that I got with my T-Bone BC500 and an on-stage mini boom. This whole setup here.
Sweet. Oh, nice. Okay. I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took this stand, put a mini boom on it. Mini boom was $8 on B&H. Really happy with it.
Nice.
It will not sag because it's got a teeth system, a tightening and tooth system. Pretty good. I have no qualms about it so far. And then cheapo cable.
Nice.
As used in the last episode, as described in the episode show notes.
Yep.
Show notes. I don't know where my Canadian is, but show notes. Cheapo cable. Yes.
Cheapo cable. Nice.
That's what I'm using.
Awesome. So I went a little bit of a different route today. I went with the Shure SM57 as my microphone, and then I've got the A2WS windscreen on it. It's like the one that is meant for the 57. Dude, it's a fantastic windscreen. Like,
it's one of the best. I mean, it's the equivalent of an SM7B windscreen, but for a 57.
Yep. And then
cool.
I noticed some like desk noise in the last episode with that fucking TC Helicon Go XLR mic. It seemed like it was when I was
it wasn't mine.
editing it.
Are you sure it was yours?
It was both of ours. But yeah, it was
okay.
Both of ours were doing a little bit. So yeah, when I was editing it, I could tell like in some parts I was hitting it, and then sometimes you were hitting yours. So I decided to bust out the dynamic microphone, little shock mount. This is just like one you can get on Amazon. I think it's like $15 to $18 or something like that. It seems to work pretty well. I mean, I don't think it's perfect, but it's solid especially for the price. But then I'm using the Telefunken right angle cable like last time, and then also like last time using the RodeCaster Pro II. No processing.
Need to get that Taiyun Q12 hooked up, buddy.
Dude, I know, man. It's intimidating, man. You know.
Do you really want to use something as like the Rode, or would you rather go with
the Taiyun,
the elite option?
Right.
Taiyun Q12.
Yeah.
Also known as the Xtuga.
Can I
Q12 and a whole bunch of other Chinese names, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something right now that I didn't tell you and that I'm telling the audience at the exact same time. So last episode, when I was using the RodeCaster Pro II and you were using the Taiyun, I literally, this is so stupid, but when I would delete the silence essentially between us talking. So if you were talking, I'd delete the area in mine. So the noise floor level was a little bit better, but I think I learned my lesson not to do that. So what I had to do was, because when I stopped talking and paused, I had like no noise, dude. It was like fucking nothing, which was insane. And then you had some. And it was a little jarring when you would start and I would stop or whatever, you know?
Damn.
So I actually went in and added some noise floor to mine. I took a fucking room tone. I took a goddamn room tone, dude, and added it when I was talking so it wouldn't be so jarring.
Man, you should have told me that. Should have told me that.
Well, now I'm not going to delete the silence, I think, because I don't really need to. And then I'm not going to run into that issue as much. It'll just be like a constant, here is the noise floor for the whole episode, rather than, so. You think
it was preamp or room noise?
It was.
Because I am not in a quiet place. I am not.
There was definitely some room noise for sure. And there was one point that I was like, maybe I'll just put a gate on him. But I would actually hear some people in the background talking, and it was really kind of throwing off the gate a little bit. And it would make this like chuggy noise that was very weird. So I was like, whatever. I won't gate it. But no, dude, it's fine though. Like I just learned my lesson not to do that, and I think we're fine. It's not like, honestly, the noise floor was bad. It was just that mine was so quiet and they were so different. Yeah, that I was like, I got to do something about it. But
that makes sense, because I am not in a this place is noisy. It's not overly noisy, but if somebody's wearing headphones, they're going to pick something up.
Yeah.
I listened to the last episode in the car and I picked up nothing, but now I know why.
Yeah. Dude, and speaking
I was like,
of,
damn, that's good, nice, quiet recording. Man, that Taiyun is the shit.
Oh man. Yeah, it's not bad. And it was definitely more when I was like very critically listening and everything with like the HD 650s on. I was noticing some more, but it really was not bad at all. Like the Taiyun, for especially it being $30, dude, not bad. So yeah, I actually think it's a testament to how good Rode made these preamps, honestly.
I have seen some videos lately that is really, oddly enough, Tom Buck did a video of
great video. Yep.
Of do you need an inline preamp? And no matter how many times I've seen a video like that, or like all of the ones that we do, like, chances are you're making a video, unless you found a mic no one's reviewed. If it has anything to do with anything else, there's information on YouTube about it more than once. But I saw that and I was like, I'm going to check this out, because it's a hot topic in my world right now.
Yeah.
When you've got a Taiyun Q12 of all things, you don't need a preamp with it. You just don't.
Yeah.
It's overkill. It's too much money spent. But Tom basically came to that conclusion with the RodeCaster Pro II.
Mm-hmm.
And in his video, the inline mic preamp was adding more noise at lower gain than what the RodeCaster 2 was on higher gain. Like, so it was zero benefit. It was actually not beneficial at all to use an inline preamp. And I listened with headphones and he was spot on.
Yep.
And it's like,
great video. Yeah.
And people are still paying $150 for a cloud lifter. Like it just, unless you got an old interface, it's just not necessary.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, for sure. I also watched that video, great video. And it wasn't that I didn't trust what he was doing and saying and everything, but I'm just a very much like, got to try it myself person. But I did the exact same thing, plugged the RodeCaster 2 in, used the SM7B, and did it with a cloud lifter, without a cloud lifter, more noise with the cloud lifter.
Yep. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, nuts.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't like insane how much more noise or anything, but you would expect that when you plug in a cloud lifter that gives you quote unquote clean gain, that you're going to get a little less noise floor. But no, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah. And to be fair, most devices, you do get a little less noise floor. RodeCaster 2, different story.
That's true. Very true.
And there's some other interfaces out there. I use an Elgato Wave XLR in my office recording space, and that thing's a beast on gain, absolute beast. So, an inline preamp would add noise to that as well. But yeah, it's kind of nuts. I am officially very much not interested in mic preamps for dynamics and ribbons. I'm just not very interested, which I've got a video coming out on one. And I will say I like this one a lot, and its form factor with functionality. It's really nice from a company no one's ever heard of, because it's a startup from overseas, and they reached out, sent me a preamp, and it is pretty sweet.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mostly because it's all black and my soul's black. Tom knows that.
Yep,
but
same. Yep. I like my preamps black like my soul. Yep, for sure. But yeah, dude, no, I think that with the inline preamp mic activator, mic booster thing, for them to stay relevant, there's going to need to be some changes, and so that's where I'm at, like they're going to have to improve something one way or another, give you maybe a variable dial, of how much how much gain you want, or whatever it is, like something needs to change. But
I think, or I have seen, have you ever seen any like really small form factor compression boxes?
I don't think so.
Not
that I can think of right now.
So I saw a little box the other day, probably twice the size of a cloud lifter. Okay. And it was just a simple XLR in and out, had a couple meters on it. And it was a single push button, like little round push button,
Gotcha.
Springy, push in, engage, push out, and it was compression, little tiny compression box.
Nice. That's
which
cool.
I think is really cool. Yeah, it was expensive as hell.
Oh, I'm sure.
But, yeah, but if we could get inline preamps with just one added function, like I know they're out there, but if say the Clark Technic 2 comes with a push button big bottom, or a
that'd
push
be
button,
sick, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Something like noise gate. I don't know, something.
Yep.
If they could add something and keep the prices similar, because unless the marketing departments keep winning, people are still going to buy, inline preamps when they absolutely just should not.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I'm trying to think. I know that Universal Audio makes like the lunchbox size preamps that are like the Neve 1073 or whatever. But I'm not sure if any of them are. Some of them might be compressors actually, but still, what you're describing is like half the size of that. So like that's tiny. Yeah.
This compression box was pretty small, so it seems like it could be done. I'd be perfectly fine if it was a little bigger than a cloud lifter.
Yeah.
Not saying I'd buy one, but it would make sense for some people.
Yeah. No, that would actually be a really sick idea, is some optional like EQ with a built-in inline or with an inline preamp, you know, whether that's like a high pass filter at 40 to 60 to 80 hertz and you can dial in where you want it, or even like a little presence boost, bass boost, you know, big bottom, like you were saying, dude, that'd be so sick. We just made someone $1 million. It's not us. It's not us.
I saw a sweet video today too. Like I've tried my hand at creating like a microphone canister. Like I built an SM7B canister. You could just stick a handheld in or whatever. What's that guy's name? I know you're gonna know it. It's
was it a DSLR video shooter?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you watch that video today?
So I haven't watched his canister one, but I watched some of his live stream yesterday. So, and he was using it. Yeah.
It's pretty dang ingenious. Which, I mean, I've had the same idea, but he took a 3D printer, printed a identical SM7B shell, looks like a plastic screw-in grill.
Yeah.
Just a cool idea. I love stuff like that.
He's good that way.
I saw that video. I was like, I want that. I want that kit. I will buy that kit if he makes it available on Gear Space or whatever he said it was going on. I was like, I want one just to review on the channel, you know?
Absolutely.
I think it's really cool.
Yep. Dude, I'm going to be completely transparent with this and say DSLR video shooter has
Don't talk shit about him. Don't do it. I want to apologize to everyone else.
We're not going to have to apologize to Caleb after this. Caleb Pike, I think is his name. No, he has influenced so much that I've done on YouTube in like a great way. He's good. Dude, he's made my life a million times easier with a lot of things, and it's great, dude. Like he's actually, I think that I have him as one of the recommendations on my channel. I can't remember though. If not, I should. But dude, he's fantastic. He, like, literally the desk that he recommended is the one that I got. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It was way cheaper than going the other route, but so I can't, with my like hip problem, I cannot sit for too long. I like struggle. So he recommended this like Husky workbench thing. It's a game changer, dude. Like, so I could actually stand up all day. I like never sit down, which is great for my hip, but it kind of sucks at times. Like sometimes you just want to fucking sit down, but yeah, so it's great. And it's really heavy duty. Like I have my speakers mounted to it. I have a bunch of shit mounted to it, and it's just sturdy as hell, but it's all because of Caleb. That's man. Awesome. He does a great job.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
What is your hip issue? Cause I have a little bit of one. Mm-hmm. So now you've got me curious.
So, well, I had to go and get like an arthroscopic surgery. Is that what I think that's what it's called. They go in and shave the bone. And so basically I was born with like a disfigured hip bone pretty much. And so over time it just kind of grinded on the area around it. And so they have to go in, and it's actually like pretty common for younger people. But what's not common that I have is, I believe it's called an impingement. So what happened is that my hip bone was wearing so hard on the socket around it that it cracked it. And there's nothing that they can do for that aside replacing the whole hip or doing this very, very insane pelvic surgery. So I'm kind of just like dealing with it because no place around here will operate on like a 31-year-old and do a full hip replacement.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha, I should say. I don't know if I have an issue or not. I had a car. It was an old Ford Explorer, and I had it a handful of years ago. And sitting in that thing for any longer than 15 minutes, the left side of my hip would just ache.
Dude,
like
that's
crazy.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah. Huh.
But it was just that. Like every car I've owned since, no problem. Other chairs, but there was something about the height and the angle that just put me in a world of hurt.
It's actually, it sucks because the movie theater we have here, we'd used to go to movies all the time, like pre-2020, you know. We're very big movie people, supporters, especially horror movies, you know that. And so we went and saw Nope. And they actually...
Was that good?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Every movie he's done is supposedly great.
Dude, Jordan
we haven't
Peele?
seen a single one, but we're gonna.
Dude. So I can't do this podcast anymore. No, dude, he's great. Like the fact that he's done like 4 movies and that he's like my second favorite director, like is pretty insane. You know, like incredible.
I've always been a fan of his, but for different reasons, of course, because you know.
Well, and that's
did you
one
watch
of the,
Keanu?
Oh, dude, I watched Keanu like fucking 25 times, bro.
I love that shit.
I saw it like 5 times in the theater, and that's not an exaggeration. It might be. I think I saw it 4 times, but
I don't think I've ever laughed so hard as the George Michael scene.
Dude, oh my gosh.
I've never laughed that hard in my life, I don't think.
It's so funny. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I need to watch those movies for sure. Me and my wife have been talking about it, and that's on the list right now.
Yeah. So
I watched Poltergeist for the first time the other day. First time ever.
Nice. Did you like it?
It was fun. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, for, you know, the graphics were cheesy and stuff, but it was the 80s.
Yeah.
So, but they held up. I mean, it was still,
it
wasn't cheesy to where it's like, oh, this is a cult classic B movie. You know? It was still good.
Still good. Oh, but yeah, I forgot where I was going with it. But when we went and saw Nope, they had actually changed the seats that they have in there. And that's exactly what those seats were doing to me. I would dude, and that's like a 2-hour, 15-minute movie. And I was struggling the whole time, dude. And it was a little hard to enjoy. And I actually think that I probably could have liked it more had I not been dealing with that. So yeah, dude, but it's a very good movie. But that's interesting that the Poltergeist stuff held up. I probably haven't watched it in like 10 years. And
it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
No, that's good. Yeah. Dude, honestly, they did a great job.
I'm on a kick.
Oh, nice. Yeah. They did a great job with a lot of practical effects around that time. And they just still look solid, you know?
That's all they had to work with. Well, think of the Star Wars movies. Like, the Star Wars movies effects were literally better than the prequel Star Wars movie effects.
Dude, yeah.
The 70s was better than the early 2000s.
Absolutely.
Just was.
Yep.
Because the early 2000s just looked so fake.
I feel the same way about Jurassic Park. Like, I think the first Jurassic Park looks incredible. You know?
Yeah.
Big time. Big time?
I have not watched the last 2 Jurassic
Me neither. Dude,
World.
same. That's where I'm at.
The first one.
Same. Yep. Same.
But that was it. I was done. I mean, it was fine. It was decent. But
yeah, I like Pratt, but like, it's not an actor thing. It's just I think it's cheesy, and like the effects. I think like they're impressive. Like, but I just think that practical effects, you can do a lot with them, and they look amazing. You know.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more work.
CGI, you can always still tell that it's computer generated. You know, with some of the other stuff, like you knew a computer wasn't involved, and it was more impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I liked the newest, I guess there's another one coming out pretty soon, but the 2013 version of Evil Dead. It's a lot more serious, and people didn't like the fact that it was a lot more serious, but I think it's a great movie.
Most of the people I know say it's just
terrifying.
Well done and terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point.
Yep. And so I think they used CGI in one part at the very beginning of the movie, and then everything else was practical. And I mean, it's kind of hard hearing these things like second, third hand, whatever, you know, like, but apparently when they were filming that, they actually wouldn't let the actors know what was going to happen in the next scene. So like their reaction was very genuine. Since they were using practical effects, like that shit would seem real if you were, you know, like on set and all of a sudden someone starts spewing fucking blood or like cutting them, like whatever it is, you know, like it's just, dude, that's fucked up. I love it.
I need to finish that. I started it and I never did finish it. I don't know what happened or why,
Dude, I always
just creepy as shit.
Just to get under my wife's skin, if I'm ever just being a tool, I'll always just say what the demon thing says in Evil Dead. It's like it says Mia, which is her name, but it's like Mia. And I'll just do it. I'll just do it from like the other side of the wall, and she's like, fucking stop it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so funny, dude. But I'm actually not usually a person to do that with my wife. That's like my one thing. I don't usually tease her a whole lot. She probably teases me more than I tease her, honestly.
Yeah, I don't tease mine either, but
Yeah.
but when I do, it's good times.
Yeah. But when I do, I ruin her day.
I luckily don't ruin my wife's day, but she definitely gives me the look.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely don't either. Look. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know your relationship with your wife, but like when someone says like, oh, my wife is my best friend, like I don't know how much I believe them, but dude, no, my wife like legitimately is my best fucking friend. Like, and it's not close, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying this because, but that's exactly how we are. But
yeah,
we also have a history of like when we were younger, like I met her when I was 16 or 17. I'm terrible with timelines, but I met her, and as soon as I met her, my friend Derek introduced me to her because he was dating her best friend or something, and I met her, and it was instantly like, oh my God, like she just had this look, you know, and it was just for me.
Yeah.
Anyways, we would date for like up to 90 days at a time, and then she would run because she her being young, she didn't want to be tied down. She knew she wanted to live life. She wanted to go to college. She wanted to party. She wanted to be promiscuous. She wanted, you know, she wanted to live life.
Yeah.
So she always ran. But when she ran, like it'd be a couple weeks, wouldn't see her or hear from her. I knew it was over. You know, it was that kind of a thing. Yeah. But I always wondered why. But then we'd reconvene somehow, some way, and we would be friends for like half a year.
Yeah.
We hung out with the same people, so we would just be in the same circle. I would invite her, her sister, and my two buddies over, and we would do like a Monopoly game night where we, you know, did stuff and had a good time. And then 6 months into that, we would start dating again, and it would last 90 days, and then it would go to shit. And
Interesting.
And we'd be friends again for like 6 months, 8 months, something. You know, we were always friends no matter what.
Yeah.
And it was just, that's just how it worked.
Yeah.
And you know, that's how it is now. I mean, it's legitimately, I didn't even have a male friend that I hung out with until recently. Yeah. And we're talking like me and my wife have been almost 9 years now. And I didn't hang out with anyone but her, but it was fine because she's all I needed. Like we're the same person.
No, I get you.
We like the same music. We like the same movies. We like the same shows. We talk the same. She'll look at me and be like, dude, you'll never guess what happened today. And I'm just like, the fact that my wife calls me dude makes me moist. You know?
Yeah, dude. No, absolutely. Yep.
It's just, I get to go home and hang out with the person that is the most like me, but with boobs and a fine butt every single day.
Same, dude. Same.
How great is that?
I know. And it's funny. Like, I think that, I don't know. I've always been kind of back and forth on the whole, like, you like the opposite person, you know, like you're supposed to find someone that compliments you. Honestly, like I don't get it, but I guess
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I guess I can see with maybe some people's personalities, maybe they need that. But for me, I knew that's exactly what I did not need. I needed someone similar to me that I could relate to. And dude, no, my wife is literally same freaking girl version of me, you know?
Well, I feel like there's proof in the pudding sometimes. Like you and I, we're doing this. We're friends. Why? Because we have things in common.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
My buddy that I hang out with now that took me years to find someone that I liked enough to hang out with, I hang out with him because we have almost everything in common. There's shit to talk about. There's shit to agree upon, you know? I don't have tolerance or time for people that are that much different than me because, you know, what do you talk about? You know, I've been with girls that were complete opposites of me. It all ended in fiery disaster.
Oh, same, dude. Every time I I went with a girl that was opposite of me. Like it went like not just bad. It was bad. You know, like dude, for sure.
And like, of course it was. You know, like I mean, what do you do? I listen to people talk all the time about all she wants to watch is this and she likes to do this and I don't like to do that. And it's like, how can you do stuff together and enjoy time together if you don't like doing or talking about the same things?
Dude, yeah, that's very true.
The opposites attract thing is for one thing and one thing only, and that's sex.
Yeah, that's fair. That does seem very fair.
To me.
Yeah.
But like you said, some people need balanced out, I guess. I don't. I want a clone of me, except looks nothing like me. A personality clone.
Yeah. No, I get you. For sure. Well, I think that, I mean, like, I guess personality-wise, I'm definitely more eccentric than my wife is. But I mean, but like I would say, like, as far as like pretty much everything else goes, like beliefs and like literally everything, we're identical. Like the only thing that is different is that if we're out somewhere, I'm the more likely person to talk to someone. That's it.
That's us too, because my wife deals with, anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
And she would never do a podcast. She would never do a YouTube channel. Nothing like that. I've always been the more outgoing of the two. Yeah. But that's, I don't need her to be outgoing if we spend 98% of our time together.
That's true too. Yeah.
As long as she's outgoing with me, we're good.
Well, and that's the funny thing is like once my wife lets someone in, she's as eccentric as I am, So it's definitely more just, when she doesn't know someone well or whatever, doesn't know kind of what they're about, that's different. But yeah, dude. Yep. No, that's hilarious that we have so many damn similarities in so many ways. Like even our wives are the same.
I know.
This is crazy, man.
How big's your wiener?
It's 1 3/4 inch.
Same. Absolute same. Absolute same. You wipe front to back or back to front?
I'm not. Well, it depends on how bad it is.
Same. Absolute same.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
The thing that we were going to talk about a long time ago that that we said we would remember. So I have a question. The reason I'm asking this is that I've been getting this a lot recently. And it's specifically this one question, but what do you think is your most frequently asked question on your YouTube channel? Like when a listener or viewer comes and they ask you a question, what is it?
Oh, see, I feel like mine are so random.
Yeah.
So random. And it's the same people most of the time. My channel's not really big enough to have a lot of new folks.
I get you.
You know what I mean? I recognize 90% of the comments, but it's the most common question I get, it always relates to one of the more recent videos I did. If I had $1 right now for someone asking these two mics specifically, I post a new mic like clockwork. Someone will be like, this mic or the Fifine K658.
Dude,
or this
you
mic
get
and
that
the
question a lot
SL40.
too, dude.
Yes. And I'm just like, I'm so sick of comparing between the K658 and the SL40.
Dude.
Two mics that I think are very good for the money, but that I just don't use that much.
Yeah.
Like the F-Deuce is cool and all. It's a great value, but I don't, as you can tell by this podcast, like my intentions are never to use the same mic more than a time or two in a row. I like using different things. So, but I always have to answer those. And I've always got an answer for them. But that's the most common.
Yeah.
F-Deuce. Which one? F-Deuce or this? F-Deuce, F-Deuce, F-Deuce.
F-Deuce.
That's popular mic.
Yeah. Dude, the K658 gets brought up a lot in comments, like of other videos that isn't the K658, which is interesting. And honestly, though, I think that video, as far as like recent videos that I've put out, recent-ish, I'm pretty sure that one tops all of them in views for me. I could be wrong, though. But
which one? The K658 or the F-Deuce?
K658. Yeah, dude. But
I need to show you something now because we're going to get questions about a new one here soon.
Oh shit.
Yep.
But I agree with you. I do get the comparison question a lot, but this is the other one that I get, and it sometimes comes in a complaint form, not toward me necessarily, but like it'll come in a complaint form. Or it'll be like a, hey, can you help me here sort of thing. But it's always revolves around this. They'll go to a microphone video and they'll say, hey, when I use this microphone, it's really noisy and I have a lot of issues. Like, why is yours so quiet?
Yeah, I do get that a lot.
Yeah. Bottom line, dude, I think that I just need to make a how to set your gain video. so I can just reference them to that. Because I think a lot of it is the fact that someone is just cranking it and it doesn't need to be as loud as they're making it. So they're not, shooting for -18 to -12 decibels. They're shooting for fucking 0,
Yeah.
So
and it's going to pick up a lot more, if you snap your fingers in the background, it's going to be louder if you're at 0.
Yep, for sure.
I'm going to show you this because this is now.
Oh, back up a little bit.
Can you?
Oh, weird. Huh. Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, that's interesting. When does that come out?
It's a new Milano.
Yeah.
And it's an XLR USB mic.
Oh, man. Really?
So this is going to be the the new F-Deuce question or the new K658 because this has like a ProCaster looking grill.
It does it does look really. Yeah, we're definitely going to get that question a lot.
To be different.
Huh. Yeah.
And we're
definitely
going to be asked about that.
Yeah,
wait,
for sure.
What? I just now looked. Already? How'd you get what? I just saw that it was on Kickstarter.
Yeah, they just barely announced it on Kickstarter. Yeah.
Dang, that was fast. I just heard about it today, and you're holding it up. Hold it up again. I want to see it. You're gonna get
Dude,
so
I was
many
holding that for
that thing.
so long. It was hilarious, man. I was dying.
Have you done enough to give a vague opinion on it?
Yeah. I've shot all the testing and everything for it, and it's good. My biggest complaint about it right now is just air. The plosives are a little rough on it, I will say.
You would think that would be a non-issue in most mics these days. But.
Yeah. So that's the only thing. Like when it's angled enough, like when I have it angled, like a little more generous than what I have right now, like this, and I'm a little bit further away, like it's fine. But if I like go like this and I'm pushing out P's and everything, like right now you could hear that first one, but like plosive, it's not bad, But that one, if I were to do that, it definitely catches it a lot. But there are ways around it, and I think that there are some things that I'm going to recommend in my video that if like someone is dead set on getting it, that they could, do those options essentially.
One other question.
What's up?
And I know you don't want to reveal much before the video's out, but if you can remember, does it seem like does it sound like the 300, the Milano USB XLR handheld dynamic? Because I'm wondering if they just took that capsule and put in a body like that.
From what I remember, no. I think it has more. Like it has I think it has a larger frequency range. It sounds like,
that would be good.
Yeah. So
the other mic was good, but it was very Audio Technica ATR 2100 like, in my opinion.
Yeah. You can tell this is like a bigger diaphragm for sure. I am going to put the 300T in the video, so we'll have to hear it back to back. But from memory, this microphone sounds better and definitely offers more of a frequency range, I would say.
That would be good because the 300T was solid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, aside from, and it does come with a windscreen. Yeah. I think you saw it in the.
I wondered if it did because I put on my Discord, like the way it's tapered on the front, it looks like a thin windscreen would slide over it.
Yes. That's exactly what it is. It is like a thin windscreen. And I think that maybe that's where the problem is lying a little bit, in the sense that, the windscreen is a little too thin for what it needs.
K658 had that problem on the Fi-Fine too.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I had to do with it, was angle it a little bit more and be a little bit further away than I usually would be with other microphones. So it's a good option though. I think for 150, it definitely, in my opinion, I think it beats like the Q9U. And I don't know. I won't say too much. I don't want to. But even though we only have like 8 people watching this or listening or whatever. So
well, if you take the downloads on the podcast forum and combine them with the YouTube, like, hey, we're probably like more like 30, 40.
It's like 130 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Raking
Yeah.
in the cash. Isn't it funny though how almost always a Shure microphone dictates future releases on Amazon?
Absolutely. Yep.
SM7B, you have some copies. K658 is kind of a copy.
Yep.
But only in USB form. Then you get the MV7.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden you've got the F-Deuce and this new Moano mic, and there's more XLR. You know, the Dynamics specifically. There's so many MV7 style mics coming out.
Yep, for sure.
It's crazy.
Well, dude,
Shure
I mean,
dictates everything.
Shure definitely dictates everything, but I think that YouTubers using the hell out of Shure microphones like the SM7B and the MV7 is also a big advocate for, you know, Shure microphones leading the way. You know, but yeah, which is funny though, because I mean, like, I really would pick. I mean, speaking of like the SM58, there's a lot of microphones I'd pick over that. Like when it comes to baked in sound and no processing, there are a lot of microphones I'd pick over the SM7B also. Like, yeah,
me too. I like more character. Like I honestly, I like this more than the SM7B because I like the lift and the high end, as long as it's not harsh or crazy. Like I like presence, and I know the SM7B has a presence boost, but I don't necessarily. There's that mic is so even keeled. Like it's hard to even get it to sound broadcasty, in my opinion. Like it's just so neutral and so even keeled.
Yeah,
like it doesn't have the bassy broadcast sound. It doesn't have the crispy modern top end. It's just so even, and it sounds good.
Yeah,
but it's just boring to me. You know.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna use a microphone and I like plan on using post-processing for one reason or another, I don't mind using the SM7B because I feel like I can get more out of it and change it more than other microphones. True. So, I mean, and when it comes to like music, that's a very important quality, but for broadcast stuff, it's not as important. So I think that the SM7B is a little overrated when it comes to podcasting, broadcasting. I will say when we did the episode and I put the processing on my voice with the SM7B, I liked the sound of it, but I did take the time to process it, you know, and it.
Right.
And yeah, and I actually am not the biggest fan of the presence boost on that microphone. Like the built-in
I'm not
one.
either.
Yeah.
I'm not either. And I think some mics sound processed already. Like if you take a mic like this that has a little more modern top end to it, and it almost sounds like the SM7B after a little bit of processing. So it's like you kind of get a jump start a little sometimes with other mics, and need to work with them less.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than the SM7B.
Yeah. But
like you said, on music, you know, there's a litany of use cases for that, and it is still good. Yeah, it's still a fine podcast mic, but just when you look at the price versus the fact that it is not at its best raw, you know, you do have to play with it, I think, to get it to sound, you know,
at the very
upper tier.
At the very least, you need to compress it or some, you know, something. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I'm sure there are some people out there that have a very particular voice, like that is like just great on its own, that they could talk into the SM7B and it would sound awesome. Like Mike Delgadio would probably be that guy, you know?
Yeah.
But I think for a majority of people, what we're saying, I think that kind of holds true. Like you're going to want to change a couple things about it to really complement your voice.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And the most often that I run into that is with I run into that with a lot of microphones in the sense that a lot of them have too much high end, in my opinion. So I'll like be fighting that, you know? So, but
like the Heil PR40. Like,
yes.
I have no use for that.
Yep.
You know, there's just, to me, I have no use for that. That's too much, you know, just a slight, well, the RE20 is the perfect example, really.
Yes.
Of like, sounds great out of the box.
I love
Sounds how I want to sound out of the box.
Dude, I'm coming. I'm going to be shooting. I'm coming, bro. I'm going to be shooting a video I'm gonna be shooting a video about the RE20. It's different than what I usually do, but yeah, I'm excited to do it.
That.
It's gonna be fucking hilarious. And like I'm kind of tooting my own horn saying that, but honestly, like I think it's gonna be really funny.
Yeah. So it's like the next Chappelle special or the Bronson RE20 video.
Yeah, right.
What are we doing this Friday night?
I'm looking forward to that though, and I've actually been like really teetering on the idea of getting another RE320. I don't know.
320?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just like I think it's because I have the 27 right now and the 20, and I'm like, I kind of want to make a video about it, you know?
Yeah.
But
I really enjoyed the 320.
Yeah.
The 320 is one of those mics that at one time I had on my podcast table, which always means I have 3.
Yeah.
And I had the 320s set up and I mean, great results.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of them died. One of them crapped out and they were all newer. And, you can tell by holding that mic that it is not of the same substantial quality as the RE20.
Gotcha.
Like to me,
Yeah.
you can tell the weight is different. The feel of the metal's a little bit different. It just does not feel like it's built as well. It's not a tank.
Yeah.
And, one of those died on me and that was it. I sold off the other 2. I was mad because I had them for like 2 months and one of them just completely quit working. I probably should have opened it up and tried to fix it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But now I kind of want one again. And a PR30. I talk crap about the PR40, but I think the Heil PR30, last I remember having one, was pretty darn good. I had a gold one and I've had 2 of the black and red ones.
Gotcha.
And I never did shoot a video for some reason. And I feel like it needs a video. Maybe that's the next mic I look towards getting in that I buy with my own money, which I haven't done for a while.
Dude, honestly, the mics that I'm like really, really dying to try are the Earthworks ones.
Me too. That's my, what do you call it? It's my, you said it on the last episode. It's like at the top of my wish list.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Is the SV33.
Yeah, I really want to try the Ethos. That's the one that I'm like, I really want to try it. I think it's like $700. Dude, but yeah, the SV33 coming in at $2,400, man. I bet it's sick.
Yeah, I've heard it on a lot of voices and it just sounds magical.
I'm thinking about dropping money like that someday. on a mic, but it's hard, dude. It's hard.
I'm just afraid I'm going to do it, and then Earthworks is going to be like, "Hey, we noticed there's no Earthworks mics on your channel. Like,
we'd love to change that."
And I'd be like, "Son of a bitch."
I know, right? So I do want to say when we were talking about the RE20 and RE320, and me talking about doing a video, I've been thinking about that for a little bit, but I do want to say that I did notice that Red Cabin Acoustic. He's a friend of ours.
Joe. Yeah, he sent us movies.
Yes, he sent us movies.
I need to watch the rest of that.
Yeah, dude. So he did a video that's about the closest sibling to the Electro Voice RE20, and it's like that you probably never heard of. And dude, really,
PL10, I think
that's right. But yeah, you definitely, if you are a fan of audio stuff and you want to learn about like an older school mic, dude, I really would love to get a hold of one. I think it'd be fun. But go check out Red Cabin Acoustic. Go check out that video. He's been posting a little bit more, dude. It was quiet for a bit, but now he's
a busy man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
A good look because it's been a minute since I looked at his. I admittedly I've not watched that video yet. He sent it to me, and I just have not yet. Oh yeah, Fat Heads. He did a Fat Head video. Yep. His AKG Perception series video was good because I learned a few things on that.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch this in a little bit.
Yeah. He's got 129 subs, dude. Let's change it. Let's bring it up.
Isn't that crazy?
All 7 of you, go subscribe now.
Yeah. Let's take Joe to the moon at 136.
Dude, fuck yes. If that's not at 136, well, the day after we release this, not tomorrow because it won't be released then, but you know what I mean? I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to delete my channel.
Yeah, if it's not at 136, me and Bronson are retiring.
Yep.
Yep. We're done.
It needs to be. Oh man. Awesome. Well,
see, that's what sucks too. That's a case in like, I bet he doesn't ask for subscribers.
Yeah.
And cause he's got multiple videos in the thousands, and he probably just doesn't ask, Yeah. And it's like, if you don't remind them and tell them to hit the button, they will leave.
I mean, I don't know. I've watched a lot of your videos, but that's the thing. When that whole topic gets brought up, I think I just kind of like space out for a second, especially if I'm already.
That's why I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't say it. Like I'll talk about the membership, like hitting join, just to let people know they have early access to videos. Like if I have a video ready, it goes to them, regardless of when I plan on releasing it. But I don't mention hit the subscribe button. So I just don't. It's just
I know. I technically never once say hit the subscribe button. At the very end, I'm like, hey, thanks for everyone who does subscribe and blah, blah, blah. Basically like, hey, here's a little hint, here's a little hint. You should subscribe. But I
just don't want to beg.
I know.
It's
but
not that important.
Everyone that watches my videos that's like a friend of mine, they always are like, dude, you've got to say it. Like, you've got to say it. And I'm like, no. No, I'm too punk, bro.
we what's funny though? It's like, I have compared myself with some other channels, and it's like, I release a video, it's all over the map, but most of the time, there's a few hundred views within a few days. Sometimes, I release one, there's 1,000 within a few days.
Yeah.
But like, I've seen people with high subscriber counts that their view count is similar to mine.
Yes.
And it's like,
same.
Like, I know the subscribers get you out there on the algorithm a little more. I know that, but I just can't ask. I just can't do it. I just don't want to be that needy.
Yeah. I mean, subs are big, like when it comes to like what you were saying with YouTube algorithm, but I will say they're not the end all be all. I don't think, like a lot of the time I feel like you and I, like our channels aren't necessarily one that people subscribe to. They're more like, hey, I've got a question about something that I want to be answered, and it's about a specific microphone. And they might not just have a giant love for microphones. So therefore, they're like, hey, like, I'm just going to come check out this video and get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I feel like sometimes we will have videos that maybe pop off a little bit more, but it doesn't always end up with like a ton more subscribers or anything. But I mean, obviously we're doing something wrong because I mean, Bandrew has a ton, and like
he has a ton.
Curtis Judd has a lot. There are a bunch of audio channels out there that are successful that have a lot of subscribers and everything. So I mean, well, and you can't discount the idea, and this is taking nothing away from them, but you can't discount the idea of being first to the market or being the first wave to the market, because Bandrew is literally almost an OG when it comes to mic reviews. Like, people just weren't doing them before him. Like, there's probably a few channels out there that were, but they were niche, and somehow his niche took off. Yeah. His version of that niche. And I'm not just saying he was first and that's why it's big. That's not the case. It has to be a perfect storm. But like, I feel like I've talked about this with someone before. I don't know if it was you or someone else, but when I had the fantasy football podcast, like, it did pretty well. Like, it was pretty good. We made sponsor money. It was monetized by our host. Did pretty well. Nice. But we did not sniff anything like the fantasy footballers did, which is the biggest fantasy football podcast out there. And they literally were first to the market. And I mean, first to the market. Like, they've been, that podcast has been running since podcasts were almost incepted. I mean, they were literally first, and it's a catapult. I mean, you gotta be good to keep it going. Yep, Absolutely.
And you got to be good to still grow. Like if they were terrible and first to the market, it wouldn't have mattered. But they brought value and were first to the market. And that's, that's huge. You can't discount that. So I almost feel like I entered late, but even though I entered late,
still did.
It doesn't mean I'd be much bigger.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of factors, and obviously I do something to scare them off, and it's fine.
It's fine. I feel it. I mean, I could say that same for me, because it's not like my ratio of people that are subscribed and watch versus not subscribed that watch is insane.
Massive difference.
It's insane. So
maybe it's like 80% for me. 80% are not subscribed.
I think that's me too. I think I'm right around that point too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just based off of that number, it's not even like a view thing anymore. It's just like, I think that people do come to get information about one thing and they just don't plan on sticking around. And like, not to say that I'm offended by that. Like, I get it. Like if I wasn't the biggest audio fan, like I would be the same way. I'd do that with certain other things where I go watch a tutorial video about putting on a door, or putting on a handle, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I will do that and I'll watch it. I'm not going to subscribe to them though,
No, me neither.
Yeah.
But I think the good thing in our case is there's a lot of room to grow, because our whole world revolves around media.
It's true.
The whole thing, like video is king.
Yes.
Video is absolutely king. Everyone watches crap on their iPhones and their, whatever, tablets, computers. And the more everything is video rules, I mean, audio goes hand in hand with video. So there's more people wanting to start podcasts than ever, more people wanting to record content than ever, more, so
absolutely.
When some of those people that are on TikTok realize like, a microphone would be a game changer to my overall video, as
it's true.
It would be a game changer. Like, let me go look around and find one. But like you said, they're probably going to find your video about whatever, fine, whatever, and be like, I'll just buy that. I'm good.
Dude.
But
speaking of,
more people want to get into it.
Yeah. And to get off topic a little bit, kind of, one thing that I do also want to mention, that the comment that I get a lot is the fact that people will watch the K658 video and they feel so fucking compelled to be like, why are you saying fine instead of fine? I'm like, hey.
Because they told you that's how it was pronounced.
Hey, how about you look at the pinned comment that they left me that says, thank you for saying our name right. Honestly, though, next review I do, I'm going to say fine. I'm like, and it's not even like a giving in thing. It's just that, well, I guess it is. I'm fucking sick of those comments. Bottom line.
I would imagine.
Like.
I don't understand. Like, there's no N in there anywhere. Except for the end.
Yeah. No, it's definitely
it's hard.
Yeah. I get it. I get why people are like, hey, why are you saying? And usually when I'm saying it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the fine. And I usually say it pretty quick, and I kind of like have the first one be a little softer than the second one, so like it kind of sounds like I could be saying fine, and yeah. But
I would love to have their explanation on it though. I really would.
Yeah, I never got an explanation. All I got was that this dude, it's probably the guy you dealt with, like Kyle or something. I think Kyle Lan or something. But he's a really nice guy. But he just said, like, I just asked how they wanted it to be pronounced, because I actually did like a little voiceover thing for them, and on one of their like videos. And so I was like, well, how is it said? And he told me that, and I was like, okay, really?
Surprising.
And I think that a big part of it is just the fact that I got, especially through doing that little voiceover thing, I got so used to saying fine that it's weird for me to say fine now. Like it's a struggle. But yeah, dude. So honestly though, every other day, another comment that says that. Every other day.
Yeah.
And
I get a lot of the whole where can I buy this at? And I'm like, pretty positive there's a link in the description as to where you can buy it.
Yep.
It's like, oh man.
And the
but
whole,
then you got to remember, like, maybe they're new YouTube viewers. Maybe this is new to them.
Yeah.
So.
That's a pretty fun topic to get onto, though. The whole pronunciation thing when it comes to products is kind of hilarious. Behringer. Yep.
Behringer.
Yep. Yeah, dude. It's interesting.
Ass ton.
Give me an ass ton of that microphone.
Give me an ass ton of that element, baby.
Be stealthy about it.
Be stealthy about it. Give me some spirit, why don't you?
Give me an ass ton of spirit, baby.
Yes.
I love it. Oh, man.
We gonna Behringer this out or not? Like to get my Yeti all up in there.
Well, let's talk about what your next video is, and then we'll call it a day. What's your next video?
Let's see. Well, my next video that's not my current video that's not available to everyone but just members is the 7 Rhymes USB Mini.
Oh yeah, I saw that because I am
adorable little tiny microphone, just adorable.
Yeah.
I've got a very small dynamic microphone that I found on Musician's Friend used.
Nice. Yeah.
No name, no brand. It's going to be a members only because I don't even know what to fucking title it because there's no name on it, but it's really cool. It's a little tiny tank and it actually sounds pretty damn impressive. Besides that, probably a condenser. I've got like an AVX AVS 80 rare mic. That should be one of the next videos coming out. And then a Kel. Are you familiar with Kel? Kel?
No.
It was a Canadian mic company, really popular for drum overheads. It was a Kel HMX1. And it's a little medium diaphragm condenser. I snagged a few of those. Very hard to find, but I've got 2 of them right now.
Yeah.
And I have a Kel HM3C, I believe it is.
Okay.
That's a pretty cool, very neutral. They're very NT1-like condenser microphones.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I got some rare ones coming up on a video.
That's cool, man.
And Monoprice sent me over their tube mic, which I'm going to do soon.
Have you tried it yet?
I have not. Still in the box.
Nice. Yeah.
I am very behind. Like I have got a lot of stuff sitting around.
Yeah.
And luckily none of those companies are harassing me, thank God. But I've got way too much. And most of it's oddball stuff, Like most of it is stuff like this, which is an A-Labs Iron 192 condenser. It's just another Amazon, kind of deal. But and this is what aggravates me. Like I've decided, even though I cannot stand doing these kind of mics, and I really can't.
Yeah.
This little thing's like a pill on a Yeti base.
Dude, that thing looks smooth. That thing looks smooth enough to shove up your ass.
I hate doing these. Yeah. Like I will not lie. I hate doing these, especially when I see that the capsule in it is 14 millimeter.
Oh.
Electret. You know what you're getting for the most part.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have to do them because you will eventually find that one.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. And I think that the 7 Rhymes mic sounded better than most small Electret condenser Amazon microphones. So I think that provided value to someone who wanted to buy a cheap USB mic that sounded good enough.
Gotcha.
So I need to remember it's not about just what I like. So I'll continue to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I won't be happy about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have like the biggest issue with doing USB microphones. Mostly just out of curiosity. I guess it's just like I wonder if this one's going to be like the one that I really, really, really like. And I mean, there are some that like that Fine has made that have been good and good enough to beat the Yeti and be a way better price, which I mean, I don't think is super difficult, but I think it'd be cool if they, kind of acquired a new level of quality in a new one sometime.
Yeah. How about we start, doing different capsules for one.
Yeah.
But using that little metal colored 6 punch hole piece of crap.
Yeah.
It can be made to sound good.
Yeah.
The great example of it is the Behringer, the handheld condenser. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. You know what I'm talking about? Has the filter switch on it. The cobalt blue silver grill.
78A or something like that. Let me see here.
It's something like that.
Yeah, let me see.
But that mic has that capsule in it and sounds good. And actually, matter of fact, not the exact capsule, but I did an Electro Voice RE410 maybe handheld condenser.
Okay.
Same style, 14 millimeter or 16 millimeter electric capsule. It's SB78A is exactly what it is. That's a solid sounding mic.
Yeah.
And, it uses that capsule, but anytime you're getting a USB mic with that capsule in it or similar style, you just know it's just not going to sound that great.
Yeah, I feel you.
How about these companies try doing a little different? There's you can buy bigger capsules for about the same price.
Yeah, dude.
They're out there.
It's true.
But they just keep buying those fucking run of the mill little dot capsules.
It's dumb, dude. It would be.
It's the same mic in different bodies. It's just you're not getting any difference. I don't know who they're competing with because they're all releasing
the same shit.
A basic circuit with an electric capsule.
Yep.
It's old.
It comes, a lot of it just comes down to which one's a little bit cuter.
Basically.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And man, I don't know. The SB78A, it is a solid microphone.
It is. And probably a lot of that's because it's XLR.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, because these USB mics, I just feel like there's too much power going to the capsule.
Oh, yeah.
It overloads and then they've got the circuitry's not good, but.
Yep. Yeah, dude, more and more I've trained my ear to really hear the articulation in the high end when it comes to the USB tiny capsule sound. And it's just it is kind of just crackly, I don't know, man. It's weird.
It's sizzly. It sounds like bacon.
Yeah. Yeah, man,
Sounds
it's
like
interesting.
Bacon. No low end hardly ever.
Yeah.
It's just mid and high.
Yep, for sure. I'll be coming out with the Mayano video pretty soon. Pretty soonish. It's
I'm excited. Is it heavy?
It is. It's heavy for sure. I think it's slightly lighter than the Q9U, but that thing's pretty heavy. So I mean,
it is pretty heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that mic either.
Dude, did you see it drop down to 120?
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy.
And I saw it was on sale. There's some table noise. I knew that for sure.
Yeah.
But I saw it was 119 and I still wasn't, I'm still I'm good.
Yeah.
It's too muddy for me.
I mostly like having it around just literally for comparisons. That's it. Because I know that a lot of people do like it. And initially, the grade that I gave it was a good grade. But that, you got to remember, it was kind of at the beginning of the USB XLR broadcast microphone revolution that has,
it's workable. It's not harsh.
Yeah.
It's workable. A low cut, and it's very workable.
Yeah. I have the ultimate question, but I don't know if we want to keep going or not. But
I don't care. I've got about 7 minutes.
Sweet. Okay.
Before my next task.
I'm going to be reviewing the Mayano, but then I'm actually reviewing the thing that I've talked about before, these impact variapoles. So it's going to be more a helpful for everyone in a studio or creating content sort of thing, rather than it being so audio focused, but still it's a great option to boom a microphone overhead or whatever you want to do. Even just putting it to your mouth right here, you can still use that impact variable, but then mount other shit to it also. It's great. So,
Right.
I'll be reviewing those two in the nearest future, and then the TC Helicon will probably come out, sometime after that. It's been a lot of freaking Broadcast Dynamic style microphones recently. So, but the question I was going to ask, if there was one review that you could pick out of all of your reviews, and you're like, hey, that's the one that I fucked up, and I would love to give it a different grade, what would it be? And take into consideration, though, this can be due to time. This can be due to the fact that, like, over time, you've learned about new microphones. Like, yeah, take that into consideration.
There is a lot of videos where I'm just like, man, I should have increased my knowledge base before starting.
Gotcha.
But it was always about people hearing the mics.
Yeah.
More so than my opinion. Man, there is so many old ones that I would go back and change if I could.
Same.
But I guess if I had to pick one, it would probably be the Rode PodMic.
Shut your fucking mouth right now.
Rode
Shut
PodMic,
your goddamn
100%.
mouth. That is mine. That is mine.
Well, I gave it a fairly glowing review, and I hate that microphone now.
Dude, how do we have the same one?
That's just how it is, man. Because everyone loves that thing.
Yeah.
It's the build quality's fantastic.
Yes.
The look is fantastic. I love that mic, except for one minor detail that's actually the biggest detail of all, and it sounds thin and ridiculous. It sounds like a cheap capsule, and I wish that I never would have gave it a good review because I just didn't know enough at the time.
So I think that's the thing that gets me is, once again, we're talking about a microphone that kind of came out at the beginning of like a revolution, or even before the revolution happened, essentially, of like there being a ton of microphones like that available that are better options by far. So, I mean, the fact that
cheaper,
you got
more expensive, all the way around.
Yeah. So the fact that you got a microphone that was built so freaking well for $100 that had workable sound, like you can make it work. But yeah, dude, honestly, if I was to revisit that microphone, I'd probably give it like a C+. C maybe.
At best.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a C.
Probably
maybe
a C.
even a D+. You can, and that's another one. That's sort of like the MXL BCD one, which is a close second to me in this question.
Yeah.
Is you can add some baked in processing from a device like the RodeCaster Pro, and it's going to sound good.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
You add a big bottom to that Rode PodMic, and actually big bottom and compression, it sounds fucking fine.
Yes.
But by itself out of the box, it sounds cheap. It doesn't sound harsh. It just sounds it sounds like an instrument. It sounds like an instrument mic. It's got the characteristics of an instrument mic that it's not boomy. In fact, there's no low end at all hardly.
Yeah.
It's like the neutral SM7B without any darkness, basically. And that's
for sure.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But on the video, I thought it was great.
Well, and I think it was just like an excitement because there was a microphone like that. And there wasn't really a whole lot other than microphones that were much more expensive, much larger.
Yeah, every end address dynamic was double that at least.
Oh, at least, yeah. And dude, speaking of prices for broadcast dynamics, though, I do still like the Procaster, and that thing,
it's a good sounding mic.
Yeah, that thing goes for like $170.
But it should be $99.
You think so?
I mean, there's so many out there that are decent for $100.
That's true,
the
man.
Donner's less than $100 and sounds pretty good.
That's true. Yeah.
So I mean,
I'd be happy at like 130, 140 for that.
That would be fair.
Yeah.
It's
a good deal. Yeah.
If it went to $99, I'd do a video on it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
saying,
absolutely.
Okay, this is now $99 and it's probably the best bang for your buck you can spend for a dynamic.
So is it one?
So it would have that behind it.
Yeah.
But 130, I'd be like, that's fair. Good fair price.
Yeah. So right now I think it's like 170. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
It's down to 170. So. It was at 230 for a long time. And then that's probably what happened, though. Like some competition came in and those microphones started selling over the Procaster. So they're like, oh, well, let's make it a little more appealing, drop it $50.
I oddly don't have a Procaster review either. And I've owned that mic a few times. There's so many that I've owned a few times and just didn't do a video and completely forgot I didn't do a video.
Yeah.
And then sold it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
the Sennheiser MD421 is something I wish I could go back and do too. I didn't give that enough time.
So that's one that I would like to go back and redo also. That was one of my first reviews. And I didn't really give it a fair shake, even though I gave it a good review. And it was mostly just based off the fact that I had used it as more of like an instrument mic before that and was just like, hey, yeah, I like this microphone, But I wish that I would have done it with what I do now versus the test that I did back then. And also, I took some advice that was online when it came to that microphone that I wish I wouldn't have. I was a little too close to it and everything. And I think that if I would have, came back from it a little bit, it would have been a lot better. The plosives wouldn't have been nearly as bad. And so, yeah, I kind of wish that yeah.
It's a funny thing that you say that. Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, go ahead. No,
but just almost, you're not getting the true quality of a mic if you are A, too close, or B, too far away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's such a sweet spot.
Oh, for each mic. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to punch whoever told you to get right on top of it and
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on, Tom Buck. Why'd you tell him to do that?
Tommy.
Getting dumb.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But yeah, you get too close or too far away, and it's not intended for either, in my opinion.
Yeah. Agreed. For sure. Yeah, it's definitely a microphone that maybe I'll redo it, dude, because it's a microphone that I do like, that I did like for a really long time, used a lot and everything when it came to music, and I kind of want to put it in a better light, So I do hate that.
Idea.
Oh, go ahead.
We do this, what we're doing right now. Record it, but it's a joint split screen PodMic re-review.
Dude, that'd be so sick, actually. I love that.
Yeah. Like one of us does the plosive test and then the other does the off axis and we go back and forth. Yeah. And then at the same time, we say what we think about it. We'll take our opinions, find the common points, write the script. And we both say, dude, it's like an echoing Obscure Hotline final verdict.
I'm so down. It's so funny to me that you picked that microphone. Like, holy hell.
It just is.
Out of all the damn microphones. That. Yeah.
I've always waited for someone to hear me slam a pod mic and then be like, but you loved it in your review.
I know. That's why I never slam it, but I just put it in comparisons and I say, here you go. But
I can pick it out in blinds all the time because it's so thin and boring.
I had someone the other day say that the pod mic sounds the best on my voice.
The only person I could see the pod mic being the best choice for is the Allstate guy.
Dude, yeah. He could do a good job with the pod mic. Yeah.
He could do a good job with the pod mic.
Yeah. Dude. Oh my God. I know when I read that, I was like, I'm not replying to this.
No.
I was just hoping that whatever headphones he was using probably had a lot of bass and a lot of treble. That's all I can say,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Maybe that's my problem, but I regret that so much.
Yeah.
That whole review. I just regret it.
I think that's a big part of why I have a hard time redoing it. People being like, oh, I actually bought that kind of based off of your review. And I'm like, well, I hope that you bought it because you liked it and not because I told you to, because I never have that intention, but I know that it can happen.
Right.
So, yeah. But
hopefully that's the case.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching the 4th-ish episode of the Obscure Hotline. I said it right. I'm Bronson, and I have the channel Audio Hotline if you want to check out some of my other bullshit. And this is
Bark of Obscure Mics if you want to check out all of my videos, which are all bullshit, especially the pod mic one.
Mostly our PodMic reviews suck.
Yeah.
Good reviews, just misinformed, and better stuff is out now. But anyway, thanks for listening or watching. Thanks for letting us be inside you.
Hey, I like that. Goodbye.
See you next time.